back on the receivers. Mon.
Yeah.
JoJo, we heard all the talk from Shannon Dawson, basically saying straight up, I had a lot of talks with him this week, pushing him in practice. We think he had a good week of practice for the bye week. Now we want that good week of practice for this Louisville week and hopefully get him on the field against Louisville on Friday and make him plays. So that was from Shannon Dawson's mouth yesterday. You look at this. This is a very talked about player. I know you know because you're on the streams, you're on Twitter, you're on all that. So when you talk about JoJo Trader potentially having a good week and getting ready for this Louisville game, just like I know we talk about him a lot. Dawson was talking about him, so I think it's fair game. Like, where are you at with JoJo in terms of like getting him ready to play on a Friday, knowing that the fan base is talking about him? He must be dealing with it a little bit because Dawson's sitting him down and talking with him. So, what do you see here?
Yeah, I mean, so what I heard essentially without the coaches talk is that he's finally ready to go. Whatever was, they were withholding him or getting him right, or whether it's practice, whatever it was, the tone and like certain key words led me to believe like he's actually like ready to go. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's a dynamic receiver, and we all been waiting for about 2 years now to see what he can do. And, hey, I'm excited. Like I said, I've been injured before, right? So I know how it is, right? You think you're ready 1 week, and then you're in practice, it don't feel right. Warm-ups, it don't feel right, so you don't go, right? So some of that part is like definitely true. But based on what I said, I think he had 2 bye weeks essentially. Well, he didn't play Florida State game, obviously. So that's like 3 bye weeks right there to kind of, get in game shape, because that's another part of it as well when you're missing a lot of time, just getting like that game shape. And you practice how you play, man. Like if you're not making plays in practice, like it would be almost like coaching malpractice, right? To throw a player out there who's just not ready and just watch him fail or lose confidence, right? So, and we've been winning with, I don't want to say without him, but we've been winning without him, right? So I think it's just like a +1 type of thing. If he's good to go, he's good to go. If not, we're not gonna put him out there. But I really do believe we're gonna see him on Friday, and that's not inside information. That's not me at practice or.
Hey, listen, hey, don't say that, man. I'm already thinking about the thumbnail and the title for this one. Former Hurricanes receiver drops inside nuggets on JoJo Trader, man. Come on.
Hey, they're gonna come for me, man, because if he don't play, they're gonna be on my neck. No pun intended, by the way.
Those JoJo videos get like the most views of anything we do. So I'm not bringing him up just for the clicks, but Dawson was talking about him. He's pretty honest guy. He says like, listen, man, and I'll pull up his exact quote, but he said he's like, we sat down, we had some good conversations, and it's clearly something that is a thing. If you have Dawson talking about with that kind of, candor, right? That let me pull up his exact quote so I'm not misquoting him.
Well, and I'll say this, D, while you look up the quote, I laughed about it a couple of weeks ago because when they asked Dawson about, and we talked about this, Amon, they asked Dawson about JoJo, and they said, hey, Coach Cristobal said he's available, and Dawson, like, this was like, I don't know, USF week, I think, maybe, and he was like, oh, well, I'll let Coach Cristobal, talk about the availability, but we're excited about JoJo, sort of thing. Like it was news to him during the press conference when he heard that. So for him to go out there and be more, detailed about it, I'll say, I think that probably shows there's progress.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing I picked up on. Just like the tone and everything, just the body language was completely different when he was talking about him playing. It felt more like actually like genuine. Not to say he's a liar, but it felt like he was actually like locked in. So, I think he's ready, man. It's been a long time coming. I just hope. I think the best part about this whole thing is that we're all like, you got people who's upset or anxious, and it's all really, we have the same goal. We want the kid to get out there and show us that he's an elite talent. That's just what it comes down to at the end of the day.
So here's a comment from Dawson. He said about JoJo, he had a very good week last week, which we said on the show last week, like, hey, people ask him about JoJo. This is a huge opportunity. We just hope he's balling, during this bye week. And sounds like that happened. Dawson saying very good week last week. We've had some very good talks again. So this is not just us kind of creating clickbait. If this guy's sitting down with JoJo talking, I mean, you can kind of figure out where the emphasis is. He says, I love the kid, which I've heard. The kid's a great kid. So he had a very good week of practice, really good day today. I look forward to him finishing this week and making some plays. And then mentioned, him and Josh Moore could play more. We want those guys rolling in. Those guys are going to have opportunities to make plays. I want them in the game more. So
yeah.
Clearly they're trying to push him because he brings something a little different to the room.
Yeah. And down the line, as what we got 7 weeks, like I was saying earlier, like you're going to need those like Josh Moore's, JoJo's, Tony Johnson, even Ray. You're going to need those guys as this kind of 7-week period or season, I should say, is going to get started, right? Guys going to get tired, burnt, whatever. Like, I think now's a good opportunity to start utilizing like all the weapons. Not saying we have to, right? You don't definitely, but if we get up, 28-3, 28-7 on Louisville, like I wouldn't surprise me to start seeing, the Josh Moores and guys like that starting to get a little bit more burn. Because now we're not playing like a 12-week season anymore, right? Where we just go to a bowl game and that's it. Like we're talking about playoffs, championship, type of length, right? Which Carson Beck has seen. So he knows what that looks like. He knows, what type of body your body has to hold up for that long of a time. And, obviously we haven't played that long of seasons. So, I would like to see those young guys like, like I said, JoJo, Josh Moore, even Tony Johnson, and get some burn in there as well. But like I said, I'm not saying we need to see them, and we're not crashing out on Twitter if they don't. I promise you. It would just be nice to see like us to start blowing some teams out or get like significant leads where you can start to put those guys in without like it being close or a team like trying to rally back or anything like that.
That's what Bama would always do. They'd always get their young guys playing in those blowouts, and then they'd be ready to rock and roll.
They wouldn't really change their style though. They wouldn't really change the play calling. They would just play the same sort of game they had been playing the whole game, except the young guys letting them run.
Clutch saying, crazy how fast things change. JoJo wide receiver 1 and 2. Then to this is like when you thought it'd be JoJo Trader and Isaiah Horton as our top 2. To Mally CJ in a matter of mere months. New age of college football. Horton left to be wide receiver 3. Best of luck to the kid though. I mean, he caught a touchdown. He's playing well. That's a really good passing game there. And I think
he wanted to play with Simpson. Like as crazy as that may have sounded to people at the time, he was very close with him from high school time. He believed in him, and he didn't know who the quarterback was at Miami. Like I really don't think that move for him is going to be looked at as badly as people think it is right now. He'll be drafted, and he should have a good year.
Yeah, talented guy. He's talented.
So Bucks Aplenty saying it would be nice to talk about CJ Daniels. Let's talk about him. We were talking about it yesterday, which is, I don't know what you think about this, but like seeing CJ Daniels now healthy with his foot, he had foot surgery in the offseason, which was bothering him at LSU. Just watching how he's performing, I think he'd probably be the number 1 receiver at LSU if he stayed there. It's like the guy we're watching now is different than the dude that we saw on TV last year, at least to me, physically.
Yeah. Now he looks way healthier. Like he looks explosive. Obviously the hands has always been there. He bounced back from, what we call like a subpar game against, Florida with the, the drop, whatever, wet game again. But I like the way he came back and he just showed you he can really be like a deep threat receiver. He also can catch a screen and take it the distance. So he put some different things on film that people pretty much said he couldn't do. And he did them both in the same game. So I like that a lot for him. And I think like that type of game gives you like that confidence booster to kind of keep stacking them. That's just, as a receiver, man, that's just kind of how we think, man. You have a 100-yard game or 150, like you feeling up here, like you want to try to hit it again, so I like that momentum. Malachi went crazy. Like, and I'm not saying Malachi didn't go crazy in the other games, but this one just felt different. It felt like that like rivalry game, like, Florida State bump and run, play man coverage, right? And for us to just cook them the way we did, it's just kind of like that, like monkey off our back. Like, people didn't think Malachi Tony could pull away from guys. He showed he can pull away. They said Malachi wasn't that fast. He couldn't really go deep. He literally took the top off. I mean, he really scored 3 times. CJ Daniels is not fast, right? He ran right by their best corner. He's not elusive. Took a screen like 30 yards to the crib, dove in the end zone, and did the Florida State troll. So